Eating healthy whilst working 40, 50, 60 hours a week is actually not that hard. The problem is we've just massively overcomplicated it because people think that they need to track every calorie, every macro, and follow this perfect plan. Otherwise, it's simply not worth doing. But I have found a much simpler way and one that is easy to maintain even when life gets busy. And it's the same approach that I have followed for years working as a full-time lawyer, and it has helped me to eat clean, stay consistent, and be in very good shape. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to work out what our goal actually is and how many calories do we need to reach that goal. And so in terms of what our goal is, that is simply, are we wanting to maintain our body weight? Are we wanting to increase our body weight? Or are we wanting to lose some weight? And once we've sort of worked out what we're wanting to do, that is when we need to work out how many calories we need to achieve whatever goal we're going after. And so one way to work out how many calories that we need is to potentially track your food just for 1 week. And that is basically just to try and work out what your maintenance level of calories is. So you would basically just eat what you normally eat in a week and weigh yourself to make sure that you're not actually putting or losing on weight. And then once you've done that for a week, hopefully you would have worked out how many calories generally you are eating each day to maintain your current body weight. And then from there, you can adjust your calories accordingly. But I know for a lot of you, you won't even want to track your calories for a week. And I have found this sort of mathematical equation, which actually does work really quite well to work out how many calories that you need. And so what you need to do is you need to take your body weight and take that in pounds, and then either multiply by 11 if you're wanting to lose weight, 14 if you're wanting to maintain weight, or 17 if you're wanting to increase. And when you times your body weight by whatever one of those amount, that should then pretty accurately give you how many calories you want to be eating each day. And then from there, you should sort of monitor how you're actually getting on with however many calories you've gone for. Like if you have gone for 11, like you're trying to lose weight and you realize actually, oh, you're losing way too much weight, then change 11 to 12 to actually work out how many calories you are. So you just need to sort of monitor how you're getting on with eating the amount of calories that you've worked out that you should be eating. And then if it's not sort of going the way that you want to, just sort of try to adjust some of those numbers and adjust some of your calories accordingly. But that mathematical equation, it should give you a very rough idea of how many calories to be eating each day to start with. And so just as an example to show how this works, I am about 190 pounds. But for easier math's sake, let's say I was 200 pounds and I'm just trying to maintain my body weight. I would times 200 by 14, and that would then give me 2,800. And 2,800 would be the amount of calories that I'd be trying to eat each day. And then the next step is to think about macros. And so macronutrients, that's our protein, carbs, and fats. But I'm not that interested in going into all of them. And really, only one of them is what I want to focus on. And the one I want to focus on is protein, because protein, in my eyes, is the most important. It is what's going to help to build muscle and strength. And I think it will just sort of help you to feel more full up throughout the day. And I really just feel the best when I'm eating good amounts of protein. And I think it is critical to make sure that you are eating enough protein. And so the amount that we want to be hitting here is 1 gram of protein per day for every pound of body weight that we are. And so if I weighed 200 pounds, I would be trying to eat 200 grams of protein each day. And then there's a little bit more maths to think about here, because there is basically 4 calories per gram of protein. So if I was aiming to eat 200 grams of protein, that means each day that I would be trying to eat about 800 calories worth of protein, because we have the 200 times 4. And so we know that we're then getting 800 calories of protein. And so if we were going to take that from my daily amount, which we've said was 2,800, that then means that I have got 2,000 calories left, because it's the 2,800 minus the 800 calories of protein that we're going to be eating. And the beauty of my approach here is that those 2,000 calories can be made up of basically anything we want to eat. It can literally be anything. I mean, ideally, it might be best to try and still keep those calories fairly clean and still eat sort of good carbohydrates. But if you want to just go and eat like 5 donuts, which are going to be 2,000 calories worth, you can do that too, and it should still work out absolutely fine. And then step 3 is to really work out, all right, how are we going to hit these numbers? So we've worked out now how many calories each day we think we should be eating and how many grams of protein we want to eat. But what is going to be the easiest way for us to get those amounts? And I would say here, kind of the first step is to really just think a little bit about yourself. Like, think about your actual circumstances and think how you like to eat and sort of what pockets of day you've got to eat, and just think how things are going to work as conveniently for you as possible. Because I think you basically just want to try and make this process as easy for you to follow, because that's how you're going to be able to be more consistent with it and how you'll likely be able to sustain with it for longer periods of time. But I will share with you what I do, and I do think that my process is a very easy one to follow, particularly if you are someone that is working full-time throughout the day and working quite long hours. And so the first thing that I do is I do intermittent fasting. I'm a really massive fan of intermittent fasting, and it's been something that's been very easy for me to follow. And what I do is like a 16-8 method of intermittent fasting, where I fast for 16 hours, which for me is usually from 8 p.m. to 12 noon the following day. And then at 12 noon, that is when I will start eating for the day, and I will continue or be able to eat up until about that 8 p.m. period. And one of the main reasons I like this so much is because, firstly, I just don't have to think about any food in the morning. And like, if I am busy with work, that is very helpful, because I can literally just sort of get out of bed and just get on with my day. I can literally start working straight away, or if I did want to go and do some exercise first thing, I can do that too. And I just don't have to have any of that stress around thinking about what I'm going to have for breakfast or what I'm going to eat in the morning. I then have my food basically running on automatic until dinner time, which is kind of my flex meal. But what I do here is that for lunch, I pretty much have the exact same meal every day, which for me is usually 250 grams of rice. I'll then have some mixed veggies, and then I'll have a big protein source in there, which will usually be chicken or beef in some variation. With that, I will also have a protein bar and a protein shake. And so that's kind of my big meal to break my fast to start my day in terms of eating. Then usually around like 3 to 4 p.m. I'll have an afternoon snack, and again I pretty much have the same snacks again, which usually for me would be a packet of chicken and a pot of cottage cheese. Sometimes I might have some other snacks, but it will be like a similar type of thing, and it'll probably have similar level of calories and a similar amount of protein in those snacks. And why I do that is because eating those meals as my lunch and afternoon snacks, I know that I'm getting about 1,500 calories in right there. And I'm also getting about 150 grams of protein right there. And for me, what I have found is that sort of the easiest plan for me to follow is probably going to be one that I have to think about the least. And so that is exactly what I'm able to achieve by kind of just eating those same things. And I know that I'm just setting myself up very well for the day. And some people might say that it's a little bit boring eating like that, but I actually don't really get bored of eating those foods. I know it makes me feel good, and it does easily allow me to hit my targets. And then one of the great things about doing that is that for the rest of the day, which will basically just be my dinner meal that I need to think about, I can kind of eat pretty much anything. I mean, I know that I need to still get around 40 to 50 grams of protein, but that's very easy for me to do. I mean, most of my meals are gonna have that, or I could literally just have like another protein shake or get a packet of chicken in me to eat that amount. And then I can just kind of eat whatever, as long as I am keeping within my overall calorie target for the day, which kind of, it's not exactly what I follow, but going back to that example would be 2,800 calories. So that means I've got about 1,300 calories left to just eat whatever. And for me, I will still try normally to eat a pretty like clean meal. It'll probably be something actually quite similar to my lunch again. But again, it could literally be, I could go and have like some alcoholic beverages, I could have a cookie, and as long as I'm staying within that calorie target I'm after and getting that small additional amount of protein that I need, I am good to go. And so that is the exact plan that I follow. And I really do think that this is a very easy plan for kind of anyone to follow, particularly if you are someone that is very busy and has a lot going on in their life. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.